Hey, good morning from Bogota. I'm in my Airbnb on my second week here. Um, I thought it was time I would answer a few questions. I know people might be thinking about coming here, and there's a lot of information out about Colombia and Bogota in general that maybe is not accurate. So, so I thought I would talk a little bit just for a few minutes about my experience here so far. Um, the place is really great. Bogota, in particular, is a very large city. It's 11 million people. Um, and most of the people, or most of you who would come here, would be staying in the northern part. The further south you go, the more dangerous it is, I'm told. Also, and I've been close to that southern area when I was in Candelaria, which is the old town. I did a video on that, and you can tell the difference there. It's a little more poor area. I didn't know when I booked my Airbnb that I'm in like the most exclusive area in the entire city. So on both sides of the building where I am, and all over this little neighborhood are the embassies for the various countries to Colombia. Like next door is the Italian embassy. Down the street, which you may have seen in my first video, I think I was bringing groceries back and I got stopped by the cops because I was walking past the French embassy and you can't video by the embassies. Um, but this area is called Chico, which has the Parque 93, which you've seen in my videos, which is surrounded by nice restaurants. And for the Colombian people, those are like high dollar, high end restaurants. I can tell you that I've eaten now at three of those with friends in what would be considered expensive restaurants. Um, and I don't think I've yet to spend more than like $40 for two people. So, as far as any of you that might be considering coming here, as far as the money's concerned, right now it's 4,400 Colombian pesos to $1 US dollar if you're from the US. So your money goes quite a ways here. 100 bucks is 440,000 Colombian pesos, and I don't think I've been here over a week and I haven't spent 440,000 pesos yet. um, so this area here, as I said, is the most exclusive. I thought, and I looked at several Airbnbs. I picked this one because it was close to the Parque 93, walking distance to everything. Um, and it has run me about $51, $52 a day. It's a very nice place and a super nice neighborhood. But I had looked at several other ones just south of here in the area they call Zona T or Te. Zona Te is the tourist area. So also a lot of restaurants. It's also not as expensive restaurants, Colombian wise. And that's where most of the nightlife, the bars and that sort of thing are. Also a safe neighborhood, I'm told, and I found a nice Airbnb there that I would have been happy staying at as well, and it was like 30 bucks a night. So there's quite a range, even in the nice tourist safe areas, anywhere from like a little studio or even a hotel room from like 20 bucks on up to, you can spend whatever you want to. I did some research yesterday on long-term rentals in this area that I'm in this building. It would be pretty pricey monthly. But just north of here is a town or an area called Usaquin, which used to be a separate town, but it got swallowed up by Bogota. It's a very nice, safe area too. It's got lots of grocery stores, restaurants, not many bars. It's not like a party place, but you can get long term rental there, like a two-bedroom, furnished with washer and dryer and the whole nine yards. You can even get it with utilities included for under $500 a month. Anywhere from, depending on whether you have the utilities included, it's like 450 to 600, depending on how big it is. 600 would be like 3 bedrooms, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1,200 square feet, which is large for this city. The city's very modern. The infrastructure's good. When I do go someplace that's not walking distance, Uber operates here, just like they do at home. Technically, they're illegal here. So when you're by yourself, the drivers want you to sit in the front seat. So just like you're riding with a friend. But nobody hassles them apparently. So there's some kind of hassle with the cab companies and them, but they're still operating. Everybody uses them around here. If you're adventurous, a lot like the Philippines, they have something called Picap, Pickap, which is a motorcycle taxi, which is like super cheap. The Ubers. When I went to La Candelaria, which is quite a ways away, probably 25 kilometers, something like that. It's about a 25-minute ride or something. That Uber ride was like $5.50 with the tip, so that's pretty cheap. They don't have subways or trains in the town, but they do have what I'm told. I haven't used them yet, but I've seen them. Very reliable and clean and safe bus service called Transmillennial. And that you can ride pretty much from one end of the town to the other for like 40 cents US. So a lot of people that actually live here now, they'll use that instead of Uber because it's, budget friendly. The people that I've talked to that live here from other countries, provided you don't stay in the really, really fancy area like I didn't know that I'm doing. You just stay in a nice neighborhood in a nice place. A comfortable two-person budget seems to be around $1,000 to $1,200 a month. If you can go 2,000, you're considered upper class here. So that answers some questions about that sort of stuff. Infrastructure again. You can drink the water here. They have a treatment system in the city. So as long as you're in the city, you can drink tap water. You don't have to worry about getting sick. I have not had any problems whatsoever. I know some people who live here and they don't have problems either. The electricity doesn't go off. The internet and most of the rentals come at least included with internet. My internet here in this building is about 300 megabits per second. I'm told the average is around 100. Even if you have to buy that, it's like $20 a month. So it's not expensive either. So if you're coming to visit, outside of your plane ticket here, which depending on where you're coming from is actually pretty cheap, United flies through Houston direct here, which is about a 4.5 hour flight. And it's in like a regular refundable economy ticket's about $550 round trip. They don't wear masks here unless you go into like a government building or a hospital or something like that. There's not really any COVID restrictions. They've lifted pretty much all of that. I didn't have to get tested to fly in here. I don't have to get tested to fly out. Oh, you do have to wear a mask in the airport, but that's the only place that I've been that you've had to wear a mask so far. If you have you're fully vaccinated, you have your 2 shots, or your 1 Johnson & Johnson shot, and you have your card, your U.S. card, you're good to go. You don't need to take a PCR test or what's that other one? Anyway, you don't have to get COVID tested coming or going. Bogota weather, for me, it's been very refreshing because back home in Texas, we're having record heat. It was like 107 yesterday. But it's been over 100 degrees since the beginning or since the end of May every day. So it's nice for me to get out of that. This city's at 8,600 feet above sea level in the Andes Mountains. So the daytime highs since I've been here been like 62 to 64 degrees, and anywhere from like 50 to 47 degrees at night. So most people would have to wear like long sleeves or a sweater or jacket at least at night. The people who live here, the Bogotans, I guess, you won't see any of them walking around without a without a coat or a jacket or a sweater on. They seem to be kind of cold natured, I guess, because I've been walking around with a fishing shirt or t-shirt day and night, and everybody that lives here tells me that I'm crazy. Aren't I cold? I brought a hoodie and it's got an Austin logo on it and some writing. And one of my friends here, girl, she liked it, and I wasn't wearing it, so I just gave it to her. She's wearing it all the time now. What else? The food is spectacular here and cheap, as I mentioned before. Coffee, of course, is unbelievably good. They have like Starbucks. They have a lot of American chain places here, but there's like a coffee chain similar to Starbucks called Juan Valdez here, and you can get like a medium um, cappuccino or what do they call it, latte, or just regular coffee, whatever you like, for about $1.25 instead of $5 or $6 at Starbucks. Um, so everything's it's probably not quite as cheap as the Philippines, but it's as cheap as I've been on this side of the planet um, to live and eat. Um, Went to a fruit market. Also wanted to say something about that. So most of my vlogs, you won't see me walking around with the camera. Um, Bogota, at least the area that I'm in, is very safe. The only thing I've been warned about is cell phones. I'm recording all this on my cell phone. So I've been told by the people who live here, don't walk around on the sidewalk or the street with your cell phone out, because that's like their biggest crime here is there's a lot of motorcycles driving by when you're walking, and it's fairly common if you got your cell phone out and you're too close to the street, and a motorcycle comes up, stopped in traffic, and they're very close to you, they'll reach out and grab your cell phone and split with it. So I've been trying to mostly vlog inside in restaurants and that sort of thing. Um, so I'm not going to give you any big walking tours or anything like that. Um, as far as safety is concerned, it is an 11 million people city. It's a big city. So like any big city, you have to make sure, like pull out big wads of cash, or don't wear a lot of fancy jewelry or expensive clothes, that sort of thing, because then you would be targeted by pickpockets. That's the gist of what I'm getting here. Is the biggest crime that you would have to watch out for is being pickpocketed. I've had several people ask me about scopolamine, which is comes from it's a drug that they derive from a plant that's native to Colombia. And apparently, in some situations here, you can have somebody slip some of that in your drink, like if you're at a club or whatever. And what it does is, it's kind of like a zombie drug. It makes you compliant, and they rob you, take all your stuff. It also induces amnesia. So the next day, you don't really remember what happened, but you might be completely wiped out. So my friends here said that generally it doesn't happen very often in Bogota, but when it does happen, it's almost always in a crowded club in a not a good area. And it happens because maybe you're dancing with some girl or something, and you have a beer or a mixed drink and you leave it on the table and go out and dance. Well, while your drink is unattended, somebody could slip something in it. The other time that it's common is if you pick up a professional girl on the street and they take you back to your hotel or your Airbnb. They might drug you because you don't know these people, and take all your stuff and then take off. Um, I don't know honestly why anybody would even do that here, because this place, at least the area that I'm in, it's a huge college town. They have a university on just about every block, and there are these just incredibly beautiful women running around everywhere, and they're as friendly as they can be. So, if you wanted to date somebody, I would just stick with the dating scene. I wouldn't worry about trying to pick up some streetwalker or something here. Um, what else? I don't know. I've had a really good time here. I've not felt unsafe at all. Like I said, it's very inexpensive. Um, Food, the people are very nice too. My Spanish is not real great. I can get around with it, but sometimes in a store or restaurant, they obviously speak rapidly because that's their first language. And sometimes I lose some of the words, so I just tell them, lo siento mi español no malo, or muy malo, and they almost immediately switch to English. So if you're talking to somebody in this area of town, around the universities, that's under 50 years old, it's about a 90% chance they speak at least fairly good English. But they don't know that you don't speak Spanish until you tell them. But it does help to have at least some Spanish here, and then the longer you stay, the more you're gonna get better at it. Which I had the same issue in Nicaragua. By the time I got to the end of my trip in Nicaragua, my Spanish had gotten a lot better. So um, that's about it from as far as things I can think of that you might want to know. If anybody that's subscribed to my channel or watching this has a question, drop it in the comments, and I'll try and do another one of these and answer those for you. All right. Got one more week here, and then I'll be back home in Texas in the heat. But I do plan on coming back. I really have enjoyed my time so far here. All right. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.